the rules of this body is an extraordinary one, but the reason for that is because we have an extraordinary need for those Virginians remaining disenfranchised from their fundamental right to vote. So, with your indulgence, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to take a moment to speak about why disenfranchisement is so insidious. There are currently only 12 states in the United States that do not automatically restore the right to vote to all felons who have completed their sentences, and one of those 12 happens to be Virginia. In Virginia, an ex-felon who has concluded their sentence, and after an additional period, which is contingent on the type of offense, they are further allowed to be able to request, but not automatically have, their rights restored. Mr. Speaker, disenfranchisement laws in Virginia have roots dating back to 1830 and have not changed dramatically since then, despite several recent attempts at change. Virginia remains one of the most restrictive states in that regard. However, given the Constitution of Virginia allows for restoration of civil rights by the governor or an appropriate authority, there is room for legal measures that allow automatic restoration of civil rights. To put it simply, Mr. Speaker, this amendment will automatically restore the right to vote to all felons who have completed their debts to society. And Mr. Speaker, in a climate where almost every study on reentry and recidivism prevention discusses the importance of community involvement and civic responsibility, the Commonwealth should reassess this issue. Other states have laws that permit ex-felons to vote. The point of prison is to rehabilitate the individual, punish the wrongdoing, and prepare them for reintegration into society. Part of that reintegration is re-engaging with community life. Under current law, ex-felons are treated as second-class citizens. This amendment would help address this inequity. Mr. Speaker, the Commonwealth of Virginia is one of only 3 states that still permanently disenfranchise individuals convicted of a felony conviction. Virginia already has 250,000 former felons that are currently disenfranchised. In 2016 alone, it was more than 7.8% of the population in Virginia, although prior governors have lowered that number. Sadly, the number, however, does continue to grow. Annually, around 12,000 new individuals are added to the disenfranchised population of Virginia. And, Mr. Speaker, disenfranchisement disproportionately affects communities of color within our Commonwealth. The Sentencing Project has found that 22% of Black Virginians are disenfranchised due to their felony records. Communities of color are being hurt by disenfranchisement on a daily basis. Mr. Speaker, it's important that this body of government, and unfortunately the Senate, have its say on this issue. We should leave the right to vote for so many Virginians to the whims of whichever woman or man is in the mansion next door to us. Mr. Speaker, Virginians should be allowed to exercise their civic duties freely, and those who have been disenfranchised should know that their General Assembly supports their right to vote. It's time for Virginia to join other states across the country and take measures against more Virginians becoming disenfranchised. We need to pass this rules change and allow the people of Virginia to vote on whether the franchise should be extended to almost 8% of Virginians without it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.